Hi everybody, I'm Jman. Today we're playing Gran Turismo Sport, the real driving simulator, because I still enjoy racing. While we race, I want to talk about this verse from Matthew 18 verse 6. But whoever causes one of these little ones who believes in me to sin, it would be better for him to have a great millstone fastened around his neck and to be drowned in the depth of the sea. Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's intense, right? So, this verse right here, like I said, it's from Matthew verse 8, chapter 18, verse 6. And what's going on here is the disciples have come to Jesus, and they want to know which of us is the most important disciple, which of us is the greatest. And Jesus says, none of you. Okay, it looks like we got a silver here, but that looks like a gold. Okay, so we got to redo this one. I don't think we did this one with the Mustang. Jesus says, none of you are the greatest. And he says, come on over here, little kid. So this little kid comes over, and he says, this little kid is the greatest. If you can be humble like this little kid, you'll be the greatest. But, or if you accept this little kid, that it will go well for you. But, if anybody causes this little child, or any of my children, to sin, causes them to stumble, in another verse, some people consider that breaking their innocence. It would be better for them to have a millstone fastened to their neck, and for them to be thrown into the depth of the sea. Now, that sounds like murder, and I guess it kind of is, but the purpose is actually, it would be better than what they will have to suffer in hell. Some people equate this to child molestation, and I can't necessarily disagree, because that's a pretty high extreme. When Jesus goes to, because this is Jesus talking, and when Jesus said it would be better for them to have a millstone fastened around their necks and to be thrown into the depth of the ocean, preferable to hell, I guess. Preferable to what other humans might do to them, maybe. Here's the thing. I got all serious for a minute, and I want, not just for a minute, and I want to get serious here. This scripture is important to me. And it's important to me because recently I've been thinking about a lot of things. I live in America, if you don't already know that, and I'm sure you do. And America has the most, wow, I can't even try to be serious when I want to talk. The most child abductions in the world. We're talking about, round it up to about 8 million. No, round up a little bit higher than that. 8 billion people on the planet Earth. 1/100th of that number is the same amount of number of children that go missing in a year here in America. 800,000. Now, for perspective, a penny is 1/100th of a $100 bill. For perspective. So you can actually see what the number looks like in your mind when you see a $100 bill. 100.01. 8 billion people on planet Earth. 800,000 go missing in America in a year. Now we can do the decimal points if you want to. 8 million, move it over one, that's one, or I guess you could say 800 million. Move it over again, That's 80 million. Move it over, then that would be for the decimal 100 dot. So then 1/10 would be 8 million. 100th, 800,000. Just to give you the perspective and so you can see it in your head, because it's a larger number of the population of Earth than I think people realize. And it's been popular recently here in America. Not popular, but it's been needed to be talking about here in America, and popular in hushed groups, and that even isn't the right way of saying it. There are people who want to talk about it in America here. There are people who want to say, hey, this is wrong. Hey, what's going on here? Something needs to stop. Something needs to change. Something needs to be done about this. Because when it comes to the reality is that the children that are found, 95+% tend to be found having been abused. 100% are found having been abused, but in different ways. I guess you could say there's still a slight amount of them that haven't been somewhat abused. But the media doesn't talk about this. The media doesn't talk about 1 penny of a $100 bill, because that's how they see it. Oh, it's only 1/100th. It's nothing serious. But when you're talking about 800,000, that's something serious. That's something big. A lot of people say, well, it's Hollywood and those elites. And you know what? I don't care who it is. It shouldn't happen. There shouldn't be people who want to take advantage of children in any way. Whether they want to take advantage of them for money, or they want to take advantage of them for other pleasures that children should not know. Now, I wanted to wait on this topic until my channel had more viewers, but I can't wait anymore. This has to be talked about, not just by me, but by other people. There are plenty of other people out there who want to talk about this, who want to say this is wrong, who are already saying this is wrong, this needs to stop, this needs to change. 800,000 people. Now look, I'm going to look more at the scripture on this one, and I'm going to say that as far as what Jesus is saying, if we just look at the text, there is no actual mention of abuse. It just says if you cause one of them to sin, which doesn't necessarily mean that abuse is what he's talking about. However, it's hard to not see that. He also mentions that it's of the ones who believe in him, which means that he's not necessarily talking about those who don't believe in Jesus. But I want to say that it doesn't matter to me if they do believe in Jesus when they're taken or not. There are children that are hurting that need to know Jesus, not because they need Jesus for whatever has happened to them. No, instead they need Jesus because, like everybody else, they need Jesus. But I got a kicker about this verse here that I'm about to drop a bomb that you're gonna be all like, oh. See, because here's the thing, anybody who spends any time with children can cause a child to sin in a non-abusive way. Yeah, anybody who spends time with a child, teacher, parent, principal, whatever, if you're in a child's life, grandparent, uncle, aunt, cousin, and you're an adult, that child's going to look up to you. And you're an example to that child of how to live in this world. So your actions are going to be how that child defines the rest of the world. And that is just as bad, according to Jesus, as actually abusing them or harming them, because it's anything that someone does to cause a child to sin, whether you realize you've done it or not. Oh, whoa, no pit maneuvers. That was cheap, blue car. And you let the red car take over. Wow, okay. Oh, and that's what I thought was going to happen. My batteries just died on me. Sorry about that. That happened the last time I was playing too. I think I didn't change the batteries, and I went to look at something to see if the batteries really did need to be changed, and my camera turned on, and I thought, oh, okay, cool. And then, you stupid blue car, that was rude. And now I've lost my camera. So I apologize. There goes my camera again. There's silver again on this one. That does not make me happy. But we will move on to something else so that, especially since you don't see my reactions, you don't have to see this race again. I was just trying to get some of the mileage started. But I do want to somewhat acknowledge, I don't know if we have a Boxer Spirit car though. We will find out right now. We do. Oh no, those cars are not going to work. Let's see. Oh wait, hold on. Let's see what kind of cars we need then. What should we buy? Alright, not too bad. Porsche or a Ferrari? Ooh, that's a good question. Porsche or a Ferrari? Brand. So, as much as I want to say, you know, there's evil people out there and they're trying to hurt children, there's another aspect of this that has to be looked at. And I don't remember which Ferrari it was, though. I don't know how expensive a Ferrari is. That looks like it, actually. Okay. I think we can do that. I'm not going to worry about the color right now. In-game credits, yes. Acquire car. I think this is the car we want. I don't remember which car. I forgot already. It's not just about putting the child into physical danger. It's not just about how you treat the child emotionally. I still don't. Okay, good. Okay, awesome. Yeah, 98 horsepower to 300 horsepower. Yeah, I know who wins that race. Not the 98 horsepower car. I mean, I could try it if I want to, but yeah, pretty sure I know the results there. And why it's important to me is that there should be no child that's harmed by anybody in this world at all. That just shouldn't be happening. Let's see how much more horsepower we can give this thing. 98 versus... Oh, too much. 492. Yeah. Let's soften up the tires, do some of the stuff that we enjoy with our vehicle. Drop it. Okay. Now, let's try the boxer races. Hey, we started in 8th on this one. Instead of 12th. 4 points higher. I don't know how many laps. 4 laps. Children, even in Jesus' time, the science wasn't completely in about the difference in brain structure between adolescents or younger, not even adolescents. I mean adolescents as well, but non-adults and adults not being able to make proper decisions as non-adults, and the decisions that can be made as adults, we have to rely on people who came before us, who we looked up to, who we knew, and how they treated us. And if our examples, and in most cases our examples, aren't the best, because it's adults who are trying to do the best they can, our examples may not necessarily have caused us to sin, but they definitely didn't prevent sin. Is one way of saying, okay, maybe they did cause us to sin. I wouldn't say that necessarily, but if our decisions hurt somebody else, and those decisions cause children to make decisions that are sinful, or cause these children to stumble, think less of themselves, don't value themselves as well as they should. I mean, like, let's go back to this. So I was making the point just to give you a mental visual of what 8 billion to 800,000 looks like, and used $100 and a penny. I'm not saying that any life is worth a penny. That is not what I'm saying at all. In fact, I think that life is worth more than $100. What I am saying, all that was a visual understanding, so that when one looks at a $100 bill, they understand that that $100 bill, in what a hundredth of that $100 bill is, so that when they think of 8 billion and they hear 800,000, they can see it in the same context. But I believe that life has, priceless? All life has value. And especially children. I view children as, whoa, yikes, ugh, more valuable than the car I'm driving. I work at a school. I do maintenance work at a school, and I may play with some of the kids that are there, but I do it on their level. I don't play on my level. I may not be as kind to all of the children all of the time, but I try not to make any one of the children feel less valuable than they are. I don't see them as a client. I don't see them as my paycheck, but at the same time, I don't see them as something that has no value. And it's difficult sometimes, because sometimes these children can frustrate the teachers, the parents. The parents can come in having a rough day with the child already. The child goes into their class, causes another problem with the teacher. The teacher makes a mess that needs to be cleaned up by me. The teacher being frustrated because they were already frustrated by the parent when the parent dropped off the kid. Tells me that there's a mess that needs to be cleaned up, and now there's 3 people frustrated at a child, when the child may not have accurately expressed that their stomach was hurting before they went to school, and that's why I had to clean up a mess. I won't give the gory details. I'll let people figure it out on their own. But if I come in upset at a child, or like I've had to go into a situation where I've had to clean up that kind of mess, and if I go in, which kid was it? Tell me who it was so that I can scare him, tell him not to do it again. Can't do that. I get to go in and say, okay, I'll clean this up. Now some of the other kids may be like, it was this kid, and I'll be like, that's great, it doesn't matter to me. Because why should it matter to me? If it matters to me, then I start to cause a problem about what's important about the situation. The situation that, as I see it, it just needs to be cleaned up. There's a mess, it needs to be cleaned up. Now, does that mean that every time I go into a classroom having to clean up a mess, I'm always happy and cheerful and smiley? No, because even when I get to these videos, I'm not always happy, cheerful, and smiley. I forget to smile at the beginning of my videos. But what I'm saying is, our job as adults, the job of adults, is to be an example to children. To show children how the right way to live their lives, to know the difference between right and wrong. Because guess what? Children know the difference between right and wrong. We don't have to tell them. That's a Porsche. That's kind of what I thought was going to get ahead of me. We don't have to tell the kids what's right and what's wrong. They know it already. Sometimes they need a little bit of guidance, like the difference between tattling and sharing that somebody's hurt. Maybe the way that they share that somebody got hurt winds up coming off tattling, and maybe they don't want to tell that somebody got hurt because they're afraid of tattling. That's kind of the thing. There's a little bit of both to that. We tell the kids all the time, don't tattle, don't tattle, don't tattle, don't tattle, or I don't, but the teachers do. Then a kid gets hurt and another kid sees it, and they're afraid. They don't know, well, how do I tell the teacher that this kid got hurt? We have to be the example of, if somebody's hurt, you need to tell me, but don't tell me a story of how you shoved them down because they were getting, or whatever. Just tell me they're hurt, and we'll figure out how and why later. Because there could be an aspect of tattling in that story. Or somebody watching it's tattling about somebody else who pushed down the kid. That's where being the example comes in. Now, that's the proof that they know the difference between right and wrong when they want to share that somebody did something wrong. Problem is they're doing it for the wrong reason. The reason they're doing it is so that they can get something in return. And that is, again, goes back to, well, we have to be the example. Now, that's a lot of adults have to be the example, but where do the adults get their example from? Jesus. Jesus' example on the cross, and I haven't talked about this enough recently, but Jesus' example on the cross, oh my goodness, that's another Porsche? Okay. That's kind of what I thought. I thought I should probably pick up a Porsche. Jesus' example on the cross was to humble himself. Like Jesus said to his disciples about, the children, if you humble yourself like this child, like Jesus humbled himself, sacrificed his life so that nobody else should die, so that nobody else will be guilty of sin. See, that's part of it, is saying, okay, I'm guilty of sin, and because I'm guilty of sin, I need to follow Jesus' example of humility. We got third place. Not great, but that's okay. Jesus sacrificed himself. I need to learn how to humble myself. Okay, we're not gonna buy the Porsche this time. I'll probably do it after. I'll probably do it off camera, just because then I can actually look at some of the colors. I didn't take the time to look at some of the colors on the Ferrari, because I was like, oh no, I'll just get the Ferrari, it'll be fine. And then I thought, no, I should probably get the Porsche. Yeah, well, made my choice. It's alright. Let's see. Raising your corner speed, corner 3. Basics, blah, 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 blah. Lots of stuff we've already learned. Okay. Apex, clip the apex, turn gradually. Give it throttle, point it forward. Use track, make sure clip the apex of both corners. Okay. When it comes to not causing a child to sin, not being part of a child's failure, we have the pleasure and the joy of looking at Christ's sacrifice on the cross. Because on the cross, Christ didn't complain, didn't whine, just did it. Sacrificed, not bad, sacrificed himself to free the world. Gonna have to try it one more time. Sacrificed himself so that other people would know how to be humble. And being humble, humility is a hard pill to swallow. Being humble is very difficult. It's hard to take yourself out of an equation and oh wow, we did not miss that by much. We've got the free car now though. We might try it one more time because that was close. 3 strikes, you're out. Yeah, we'll go with that rule. Jesus laid down his life in the ultimate act of humility so that other people would know what it looks like to truly be and live humbly. And no, I'm not caught up with my ghost car. Okay, alright. Nah, we're good. Don't need to do that one again. We got what we needed. We did what we were trying to do. We get a prize, so we'll take our prize. Daily workout. Nice. Alright, nice. Ooh. BMW M6 GT3 M-Power livery 2016 GR3. So, as much as at the beginning of this, I was talking about, you know what? Let's just do it. Porsche 1911. Maybe we'll look at the colors. I don't know what country. I think. Oh, it's Germany. Okay, Porsche. I don't think it matters which one. Go with the GT3. It's kind of nice. I think I like that blackest one though. The best way, I had to organize my thoughts for a second. The best way, in game credits, to not cause a child to sin. I'm getting in the Porsche right now so that when we get to the next time we get to this, we're already in the Porsche. The best way to get a child to not sin is to be humble around the child. As Jesus was humble to the point of his death for us. So thank you for listening and watching. May God bless you. And I hope that this shows you that Jesus' sacrifice was a humble example of how we should all be living our lives.